This is going to be a teardown of the Propet Ultima FX. This is a men's athletic shoe. It's a little bit different in the fact that it's got a single strap across the top, and then it has elastic laces. These are built in, they don't come off or anything. The idea here is that you undo the hook and loop, you go ahead and slide your foot in, and then adjust the closure. Just makes getting in and easy out of the shoe. When it comes to comfort, this is a comfort athletic shoe. There's a lot of built-in features. Number one, it has a very strong shank in it, and that shank goes through the midsection. We're gonna tear into the shoe and see if we can dig that out. And that is designed to provide lateral stability for the shoe. Why is that important? Well, you don't want your shoes flexing underneath you. Otherwise, your ankle, your knees, your hips are having to do a lot of extra work. Additionally, you're gonna get extra padding through the collar and the heel section, and then the tongue itself is going to have padding. This is also considered a double depth shoe, and what that is that you have a nice Ortholite X25. This is a newer insert, not available on all of the shoes. This is going to be nice because it has a nice padded heel cup in the back, and then you can see you've got really nice arch support. And then you also have a spacer. Now the key thing with the spacer is that these come pre-installed with the spacer. So if you find that the shoe is fitting a little bit tight, what you want to do is pull both of these out, go ahead and slide just the insert in, and that's going to give you more volume because that insert's not taking up that extra space, so you get extra flexibility. Additionally, when it comes to comfort, you do have a fabric mesh outer that's going to give a lot of breathability, and then you have a nice wider toe box. It's still stylish, but it's going to be a little bit deeper, a little bit wider. It's going to give your toes some room to breathe, and it's got a nice sole on the bottom. So, all right, let's go ahead and tear this shoe apart. See what this is all about. Again, we are dealing with fabric, so this should be pretty easy to cut into. I'm not going to try and worry about cutting through the hook and loop here. I'm just kind of curious, once we get into this, what are we going to see? All right, this is a brand new blade. All right, we are going to be careful. So once we open this up, you can see we've got, it looks like 2 layers. You've got a mesh fabric on the bottom, and then you've got the knitted on the outside. On the inside, this is all very nice, minimal seams coming through on the side itself. And then you can see the transition into the blue when you get into the back. And then let's take a look at this heel. If we can tear all the way through this. The other thing I should have talked about is the heel on this. This has a really strong heel, and you can tell because if I push against it, it's not going to collapse. Now the top is going to collapse, that's okay, because we want easy access for your heel, but the back should not. So if you can collapse the back of your heel on your current athletic shoe, you might want to look into something a little bit different. And I'm just going to try and slice through that. So you can see we've got really nice thick cushioning here back in the heel section. Not sure how well we're going to be able to tear through this in the back because it is very strong, and to be honest with you, I have no idea material wise what we have back there. I don't know if we can. All right, I don't know if we can separate the. I'm just going to try and cut through this the best I can. Maybe I just need to cut through the fabric here. Also notice you got a little toe guard, so the rubber comes up, gives you an extra little bit of protection there in the very front of your toe, in case you happen to be somebody that stubs their toes a lot. Cutting through the rubber here, which explains why it's so difficult. Who knew cutting a fabric shoe was going to be so hard? This is the first time I'm doing this, so hopefully there will be some learning as I go through this. Alright. It's almost like filleting a fish. This is really, not sure if they put extra support up here in the front, but it's definitely taken a little bit of extra work. I am doing my best to cut away from me. Be as safe as possible. All right, so we're gonna kind of fillet this open. And yeah, so it looks like it gets a little bit thinner towards the toe. So as far as the actual fabric here, it looks like it gets a little bit thinner towards the toe box, and then as it comes back, it gets a little bit thicker, providing more support. Yeah, especially back here. Once you get in the blue, there's definitely extra padding here and extra support. And then you can see how the rubber guard comes up. If your foot's down in here in the footbed, you've got this rubber guard down here, so that's going to give you extra support where the side of your foot is, so that it's not able to go outside the shoe, right? If this was all just fabric right here, there's potential that the top of your shoe, if you went too small, could be pushing out on this fabric. So it's nice they got that extra little ridge there. Let's see if we can cut through the rest of this, because I'm just kind of curious, especially this heel counter. And you can see all the stitching. All right, let me get this back half open because I am curious. And how do we keep on cutting into the rubber, which is really thick through here. There, let's see what we got. Just a little bit more. All right. So you can see also as we get up front, so this heel kit or this rubber that comes up here, definitely much thinner up front. And then it's getting thicker and thicker as we're getting back into the heel of the shoe. You're also going to notice the footbed here. You kind of notice it narrows in the middle. This is really important. This is considered your last down here. This is following the shape of the foot. Opens up, gives you a wider toe box. One of the things a lot of times people will tell you, if you have a hard time finding a shoe that is too narrow, they'll have you go up a half size, maybe a full size, because every time you size, you make the shoe longer, it naturally has to get wider. So people that struggle with wider feet, a lot of times what people recommend, the shoe people will recommend, is go with a larger size because it naturally gets wider and it gives them room. The one thing you need to be careful is that your shoe size always starts from the heel and we work our way forward. As you notice, you've got this taper in here. If you go too long, never recommend going over a full size longer than you actually need, because then the widest part of your foot starts working its way here, right? As the shoe gets longer, your foot doesn't get longer, so it starts creeping back into this tapered area. So you do want to be careful with that. And then we can see all this really nice padding that we've got up top and stitching here. So this is, all right. This is really nicely made. Now, again, we talked about the shank. The shank is designed for lateral stability. So the top of the shoe is not giving us any lateral stability. It's going to be the shank in here. And then you do want flexibility here in the toe. Do we go through the top? Let's go through the top. What the heck? See what happens. I'm also feeling like I need to get a cutting board or something. I guess I cut all the way through. Cut into my table here. Let's see what this bottom is all made out of. Hey, all right, I cut through there. All right. Oh, we got some heel pockets. Let's see. I'm gonna leave this attached. I'm not sure what type of rubber this is. It's a nice foam. It's got a nice give to it. And you can feel there's a layer here. And then you've got little pockets here, so that's gonna give a little bit of extra absorption. It's like there's 2 layers of this white rubber. I'm just gonna call it rubber. I'm not sure exactly what it's made out of. I guess we should probably cut through the insole, or the sole itself. Let's see what we got going on in here. Like it's just one piece of foam. I'm not sure if this is open cell. I know some companies, they promote the fact that they use open cell foam and open cell. So it looks like there's 2 layers here. We've got the dark blue on the bottom. And I'm just curious. It's a little bit thinner on the bottom, so this is probably a firmer product on the bottom, and then the top feels like it's probably a little bit softer. So you have the support on the bottom, and then over time that softer top is going to allow the foot to start forming to this product. And then of course this is all just one simple layer. This is what a Propet athletic shoe looks like when it's all torn apart. If you have any comments or questions about the Propet line or the Ultima, what is this? This is the Ultima FX. Feel free to reach out, leave a comment down below. If you're interested in more shoe reviews like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care.